Many leaders treat their calendars as boxes to fill. These are the three focuses, the three P's that I focus on in supporting my clients in partnership. This one is for the high capacity leader and your schedule that's feeling overwhelming, that's coming to a cost, maybe not now, but in future. This is the Residency in Power with Autumn Oakley. 10 minutes of precision for the leader ready to hear what their success has been costing them. No bypassing. We cut straight to the core of the awareness you've been looking for, so you can reclaim your power to lead in success that feels successful to you. The three P's that I focus on in partnerships is projection, pacing, and pockets. And this is about reclaiming your power in your schedules. This is about reclaiming your time, your capacity to hold everything that you're leading in to full capacity. A lot of leaders that I partner with, they don't always see the leaks in their schedules. They aren't always aware of where their identity is holding them to overschedule things. And this is what comes to a cost in future. It leads them into the burnout, the body collapse of where they were neglecting themselves to restore that energy, that capacity in their nervous system. And it leads them into friction in their relationships, their partnerships, their clients, because they don't feel that they can hold the capacity, the responsibility. They feel like they don't have any time with their loved ones, time for themselves. They aren't able to sustain the schedule. And these are the three P's. These are the three things that I focus on in my partnerships to help support clients into that shift in identity and their schedules themselves, to bring coherence, to allow them to lead in higher capacity and to eliminate the noise of things. So, projection, pacing, and pockets. Projection is the obvious one because we need to project what's coming up for the next day, the next week, the next month, the next quarter, the next year, and so on. And in these projections, what I see many leaders do is they're shrinking the time that they need to project. And that's a part of the problem, is that when we're not focused on projection and allowing yourself to understand it's okay to give yourself extra time, the wiggle room that you need, this is what actually is a big problem because they're not projecting enough time. When you are here to lead in high capacity, I think what I've noticed with a lot of leaders is they're still holding identities and perspectives from corporate ways, that it needs to be done right away, that you can hold it all, that you can do all of these things, and you shrink naturally the timeline that you project to accomplish these things. The identity is holding you to a space that you feel you can hold it all, that if it doesn't get done on time, then that's on you, that your audience wants this. So for it to actually land, for you to get revenue, for people to stay in your community, it has to be done right now. And that's simply not true, because the more that you step into what is true to you to lead in that frequency, that fullness of who you are as an individual, people will wait. People will understand that when you do the projections and you give a little extra time, the ones who actually stay will invest more anyway. The ones who actually stay are actually really committed to partnering with you. They really resonate with you on a deeper level, that they are in understanding that this is how you do things. This is your process, because we all have a unique blueprint. We all have a unique design, and that also includes the rhythm of how we do things. We're not always clear on what we're building. We're not always gonna know what's coming up in time. Projection is something that everybody says in your scheduling, and it feels obvious, but nobody's projecting enough time because of past experiences, how they learned to do business in past, and their identity of where it's holding them to this. Because if you're not projecting enough time, this is a part of what comes at a cost in future. Because if you're truly in committed partnerships, if you are looking to bring something huge and expansive into fruition, you want time to actually support that. You want to ensure that you are creating extra time on top of what you project, so that when things come about, so that when things need to shift and change, you are able to hold that capacity and communication and to bring it into fruition for your client, for the offering, for what it is in the investment itself. So projecting extra time With one-on-one partnerships, usually if it's a long-term transformation or if it's something that you're bringing into an experience, an event, and there's a lot of planning, I typically suggest a lot of the time, and it's unique to you, what it is, you as an individual, your design, and also what it is you're supporting in, and your client as well. But typically I always project about 3 months extra, which really brings a shock to people. And that is your identity coming up. What do you mean 3 months? That's a quarter. It feels like a lot. But allowing yourself a projection on what you initially project for 3 months allows you to create into the second category of what I support clients in rearranging their schedules is pockets. Because the pockets are where you are able to bring flow into your schedule. And these pockets actually hold nothing. And I know it sounds frightening again, but the pockets are where you are able to restore your energy so you don't fall into burnout and depletion. The pockets are where you actually provide yourself time to finish what you didn't get done the last week because what you thought it was going to take to bring into completion obviously had extra details because we can't always see what we're scaling into. We can't always see the work that needs to be done. We can't see where the timelines are misaligned. There's delays, there's investors, there's always details that we can't see in future. So a larger projection is always a beautiful thing that will restore your energy and just reclaim your capacity to bring it into fruition in ways that are actually true, that it's an experience that there are no details left behind. It's not a half-ass. It's not a, oh my God, I had to launch it because I said I was going to launch it on this date. You provided time. And in providing yourself extra time, what happens is you complete it prior to the date you said it was going to be projected. And then you can sit with it in case there's any tweaks that have to come up. Or if it is something that you want to push up, you're also allowed to do that. You trust your intuition, you trust your own timing, you trust the waves, you trust what is actually being presented and what feels right to you. And that is when things land. We talk about timing in the sense of timing has to be, that you wait for things. To an extent, yes, but that's more about patience. Timing is about being patient in your unique process, in the progress it takes for you to restructure, realign what is foundationally true, to bring things into fruition, coherence, to bring in the expansiveness that you want to bring into your business, in revenue, in aligned partnership, in every single detail. So when we are allowing ourselves projection in that and the pockets of time where nothing is scheduled at all, you are basically creating coherence for you to project, create the pockets of time in your day, in your week, in your month, in your year that allow you to fill the gaps that you need to so that you hold greater capacity. So that when your body is feeling absolutely wrecked because you know that you've pushed yourself too far for the last few weeks unconsciously because life is life and we always have to hold a lot as we grow and expand in business and in life in general. You have a pocket. You have a pocket of time you can build into your week that you have nothing. So this is not just, for you to spend time with your family. It can be if you feel that that is what you want to do. But if it's, for restoring your energy, it can be simply for you, by yourself, doing the wellness details of where you need to focus on you in the silence, in the solitude to restore your energy completely. Quick overturn. And that's what we want in our schedules. We want quick overturn. And it's about being able to have these pockets that you know exactly what you need. Your body's communicating to you that it isn't able to hold the capacity for much longer. Okay, you have a pocket. You're using this pocket for you to restore your energy, to hold greater capacity. And then a few hours, next day, you were good to go again. Your energy is revived and it isn't performance. It isn't pushing through. It isn't about hustle that, oh yeah, I can hold the energy. This actually is the process of recalibration. This is actually the process of what restores your energy naturally in your nervous system. But society hasn't taught you flow. Society has taught you structure, and that is why we're always collapsing. We don't know why the structure isn't working. So projection in pockets allow you the availability to time project, to allow the emergencies and shifts that you need to address, to invest in those pockets of time, and you have the projection to provide that as well. When you are needing to restore your energy and hold greater capacity in your nervous system, bring wellness back to your body, because let's be honest, if you're collapsed, if your body is failing you, which it never is. Your body is brilliant. It's always healing you. But if it feels that way, then you have a headache, you're exhausted, you're not going to be in that space to lead in what you need to lead. You're not going to have the clarity you need in what it is you're sharing, creating, holding space in your workshops, leading in your business itself, the events, holding space, speaking on stage, whatever it is that you do. You need to be able to hold that capacity energetically in your body, in your wellness, in the clarity in your perspective as well. And pockets help you to support that in ways that actually flow with you without the forced structure that eventually just collapses you into burnout anyway. And then pacing. Pacing is something we don't talk about a lot just in general, but pacing is for you to understand your unique design. Pacing is for you, and what I support clients in, to understand your unique pace. We all have a unique rhythm, and I look into human design, destiny matrix, your astrology, your houses. I look at a lot of different details, and I also look at where your consciousness is holding to your identity, how you're operating in your systems and business, where you're overextending yourself, where you need to pull back, where you need some clarity. There's lots of different details to bring things into coherence in your business systems and your identity of things. But pacing is actually very unique to each individual. Pacing is for you to understand how you typically restore your energy, how you manifest change, how you actually need to bring a different flow into your schedule so that it restores you. You can hold the capacity. And this is where I see so many leaders just like catapult in their business. They restore their energy. They're like, oh my God, I've never felt this way before. But they know their own design. They know their own rhythm. And I help to support partners in understanding as well, like anything I share with you in a blueprint, in a design, anything in the energetic detail side of things, it isn't something you need to hold as your identity. It's about coming out of routine that's too structured that you're actually limiting yourself. Because expanding your awareness, getting clarity, expanding consciousness, expanding your revenue, bringing in the aligned opportunities, being able to restore your nervous system, it needs flow. And it doesn't mean you don't have disciplines. You got shit to do. You have disciplines, but you basically know yourself so deeply what actually works for you. You start experiencing it. You start going to the certain environments that your human design says that restore your energy. And you start to notice like, this is my clarity space. This is my creative space. In these kinds of environments, I actually gain clarity of building things, of creating things, my writing, whatever it is that I do. You learn the different details and how to restore your energy, what environments actually are connected to where you need to build things, where you actually need to schedule things, because everything is energetic. Everything has a unique space, and you will notice that. And I see partners and clients, come into this realization as well. And why is this important in your schedule with pacing? Because pacing is about understanding your rhythms, and also in understanding your environment side of things. You go to specific settings, you go to specific energies, you go to specific environments that you have come to know in what you've become aware of in experience, actually in your nervous system, how you're like, wow, this is like such a good thing of like where I actually create really well. You begin to know yourself deeper, that I go to this space or a similar style of environment to do specific things. Why? Because if you're forcing building and creating in environments that collapse your energy, that don't feel great in your nervous system, let's just be honest, it takes you so much longer to complete things. When you are a creative, when you are doing, certain things and you're in that environment, you will come to know that once you see your unique environments and how you're like, actually, this works for me. This actually is very much like my creative space. This is my building space. This is my wellness space. And it doesn't have to be the same studio. It doesn't have to be the same cafe. It doesn't have to be the same thing. It's the style of environment. It's how you get intentional to know yourself in the environments that typically work for you. And then you will recognize, like, it takes me half the time to build things in this certain environment. I know my body's communication and my rhythms from my design so that I pace things appropriately. I know that throughout my day, when my body's telling me I'm tired, I need to go to this environment to restore my energy. And within the hour, you're good to go. But if you stay in an environment and you didn't pace things properly, let's be honest, you're still exhausted for the rest of the day. 6 hours building, doing the things, but not restored in clarity or in your nervous system or energy in your body. And that's not what we want. And this is something that I really do structure with my partners and clients, is the pacing details and how they're related to your design, because we have a unique rhythm, each of us, and it's about understanding that sometimes people go through emotional waves. They need to go and feel through the emotions, and you allow yourself to understand what works for you. When is it time to rest? When is it time to build? And it's not that you don't have things scheduled. It's not that you don't have things that you need to get done, but it's about you understanding yourself on every detail of your blueprint, what actually works for you, that you look at your schedule differently. You actually create pockets of time because you know, I'll do things in half the time. It saves you time. It reclaims and restores your energy faster. This is what becomes the most expansive thing that you can do in your scheduling of things, is to actually connect it to your design, to project a little grander in timelines for you to create those pockets, and then understanding your design, your environments, to create things in a pace that you know you naturally move through in your clarity, where you need to restore your energy, where you build capacity to actually bring in the revenue. You begin to see the patterns of how you naturally manifest things. You begin to see the patterns of how you need certain times and certain pockets in your week to restore energy, to spend quality time with your family, to do the things that you want to do to truly live life. Because if you are able to hold greater capacity and you're reclaiming time in that, that's what you want. That is the goal. That is the most abundant and expansive schedule anyone could ever have. That's what everybody wants. So these are the 3 P's that I focus on in schedules and supporting partners and clients into that. Because when you actually come out of the box, the structure of feeling like you have to schedule every box in your calendar to get things completed, yes, it works for a period of time. Yes, it may work for a prolonged time, but let's be honest, the ones who do that, they are always saying, I don't have time with my family. I'm coming into burnout. I'm always exhausted. They're saying that all I do is business. To me, you're allowed to do whatever it is that feels true to you. And I don't judge, but I feel with every fiber of my soul and being that you deserve to live a life out of the structured ways that actually don't make you feel free. Because yes, if you're running the business and you're doing all of these things, but you're collapsing in illness in your body, you're coming into burnout, your family is missing you, you're feeling like you don't have time to explore life, the world, yourself, to just like take a breath. If your nervous system can't breathe, that's not really living to me. That's bracing. It's doing the things that society taught us that keep our nervous system braced. And it's not actually your most expansive abundance. And I know that sounds ridiculous, especially with so many people who are in the hustle culture, who are making millions and billions of dollars. But it is not your most expansive path, because your most expansive path is being able to come out of the perspectives and systems that have been actually limiting your capacity to hold it, that reclaim your time for yourself, time with your loved ones, that restore your energy faster because you know yourself, your unique rhythms in your nervous system, in your body. You connect to the clarity and creativity that has always been available to you. But when we are in this restriction in our nervous system, it's a forced thing that we try to get creativity to flow. And we wonder why we're questioning, oh, what do I do for content this week? And we're questioning what it is I want to talk about on my podcast. And we're questioning, what is the next thing I want to create? It's because your nervous system can't breathe. It's because your energy is not expanded in capacity. Because when your energy is expanded in capacity, it allows access to conscious wisdom. It allows access to the channel. It allows access to you in creativity. However it is you view it, it is the same thing. Because let's be honest, if you're stressed out all the time, is that creative state? No. What do you actually perceive of creatives? You know, they typically are always struggling with grounding themselves. People who are really creative, let's be honest, it takes a long time for them to learn how to ground, to anchor themselves. They are always, having all of these creative ideas. They're creating the next thing. They're go, 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 go. It's not about structure for them. So in that, if you are not expanded, you're not really open to the creative ideas that are always kind of flowing around you. They're always available to you. But it doesn't mean you have to be chaotic. It doesn't mean you have to be not grounded and anchored. You are allowed to be both. You're supposed to be both. You are supposed to know yourself so deeply that you know in these pockets of time that you go to certain environments, you know yourself that this is your creative time and it all just flows. You're like, oh my God, it took me half the time. My creativity was just in flow state the whole time. Beautiful. Love this. This was amazing. And then you know when it's time to set up shop. You know when it's time to get shit done. You know when it's time to put on your boots and get in the dirt and get the work done to feel anchored. And it doesn't have to look so intense, but it's about just feeling anchored. You're leading. It's a different energy. It's about your authority. Your authority is not always your creative state. They're completely different states. But when you know yourself, you understand when the time is for what. You understand what your body's communicating to you. You understand how you actually need to position your schedules and projections so that it actually supports your most expansive growth. It restores your energy. It allows the creativity in the right pockets of time. You build the right things because they're not through force that often lead to a block in time because we're like, why doesn't this system work? Because we forced it without gaining clarity of the gaps we're missing, the things that we needed to click in between the building process of things. And then we have to go back and restructure, and it takes extra time. When you're able to schedule your life, your business in ways that actually support you in all areas, that is actually your most expansive path to manifest grander things and also just to hold greater capacity in your leadership and to reclaim your life, your time, to enjoy yourself. Because let's just be honest, to lead is a whole different category of things. To lead is a lot of intensity. To lead is a unique experience, maybe not meant for everyone, but I know that everybody deserves to schedule their way of life in ways that stop coming at a cost to themselves. Honored to have you here. If this found you, it was meant to. 'Tis I, Autumn Airy Oakley. This is the Residency in Power, leading in what is built to last.